life right before your eyes, and you cried because you knew that you would soon die. Call your mother and your father to let them know that you're dead. What the hell they should do? Say your prayers and beg for forgiveness. The reaper is rising and you're on the checklist. You can run but you cannot hide. Your ending was closer and death is on your side. Your decision, your life has made it hard for you to survive. Count your chick hands, accept your losses. You are the reason for the nails in your coffin. Shame, shame, I know your name, my best.
What a weird day this has been. Is it possible that we now know the answer to whether or not at least Ace Frehley will be playing on one of those final shows in December? Let's talk about it right now on this special edition of a weird-ass day in the history of the Kiss Army. What's up, everybody? Joe here from Podcast Rock City. Whoa. Very strange day. I want to get to everybody's comments as quick as I can. There's a hey, Joe. Ace and Peter are done with Gene and Paul. Stevie says, I don't know anything about this, Half Ace says. Paul Weber, crazy day faux. Sure. Never a dull moment, G-Man. Josh Hefner, slow kiss news day. Half Ace, breaking news. I think that will all about do it for Ace being at the final show. All right, man, let's talk about it a little bit. So, my friend and yours and our friend, Chris Sinzak, he took some notes and put them up here. I did not get a chance. Hold on a second. I did not get a chance to hear the interview yet because I was working. And then somebody messaged me and said, are you going to go on and talk about this? And I wanted to, but everybody else from the show is got stuff going on. But I was like, this is too good. We got to talk about it. Okay, Chris Sinzak from the Decibel Geek. If you have never listen to that show, they've got hundreds of episodes. I think 500 or more episodes in the can. There's always something to listen to. Okay. He also does that super amazing, awesome, spectacular, beautiful to attend, not at all cheesy, but better than anything a lot of people have ever done, Rockin' Pod, which we did this past 2 weekends ago. It was a lot of fun. And he took some notes, so I have barely glanced across these. So I am going to react the same as you. Now, I'm reading these, so I can't see your comments. I'll get to them in a minute. Chris Sinzak from the Decibel Geek wrote, notes from Ace's interview on Eddie Trunk today. So obviously he did an interview with Eddie Trunk. In response to Paul's comments about him and Peter on Howard Stern interview, says he demands a public apology within 7 days or he'll go back on Trunk in a week and share a bunch of dirt on Gene and Paul. What? It's like, I don't have my National Enquirer subscription anymore, but damn. Okay, we're going to get into these. Part 2 says he has a 120-page manuscript in a safe with all the dirt he has on Paul and Gene, and if something happens to him, has instructed his attorney to release the whole thing to the media. All right, man. I don't know. That's just 2 things so far. Okay, you guys, of course. Hi, Javier. I got a lot of. Listen, before we keep going, I checked it. I checked it out. Hey, it's Ace on Eddie's show. It would be fun. Not thinking this was going to be what was said. Now I'm only going by these notes, but I trust my buddy. I'm getting messages. I'm getting a lot of messages. Okay, I trust my buddy Chris. So, all right. So, man, he's got a 120-page manuscript. That's crazy. I want a copy. How about you guys? I'd like to see it. And so let's start with the first 2. In response, he wants an apology within 7 days. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen? I'm going to go with no. I don't think there's going to be an apology. Now, he says that there's a manuscript, a 120-page, in a safe with all the dirt he has on Paul and Gene, and if something happens to him, has instructed his attorney to release the whole thing to the media. I don't know what's real, what's not. It's like, okay. He outed Gene and Paul for wearing wigs and admits he wears one too. Not exactly a shock. Thank you for that editorial there, Chris. Yeah, I mean, come on. Does that bother anybody? Says Gene has multiple lawsuits against him from women for sexual harassment. Says he hasn't heard a word from Kiss about an offer to be at the final shows, and said it would take a huge chunk of money for him to do it. All right, let's see what you guys are saying so far. There's no way I'm going to keep up with all this. Ace took the gloves off again and burned the forest. Josh Hefner, you are correct. The bickering is old. These guys need to grow up and forgive and remember the good times. It just says Facebook user. I apologize. I can't see your name. But I agree, but we know that's not going to happen. Poor form from Paul on Howard Stern. I agree. He didn't have to do that. I mean, he said we get Ace and Peter, what are we going to call ourselves? Piss. And I know that aggravated a lot of people. Josh Hefner, Half Ace said, oh, geez. Angelo Lucetta, hey, my brother, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Bradley Hembry, almost like a soap opera. It's 100%. Probably not a chance. There's no way we're getting an apology out of Paul. And if we do, Gene will call his bluff. No apologies will come from Kiss. 120 pages of act. Half Ace. All right, let's continue. Good. Hey, here's a question of the day. How many people, including myself, that bought tickets to those final 2 shows just hoping that there was a minimal chance that Ace or Peter or both might get on stage, are watching this show or watch the Eddie Trunk thing and went, oh shit, just like that. I'm going to go with that. So now I will tell you that I'm not 100. So Steve Gill just sent me a message. You're killing me. Okay. So, all right. I'm pretty sure we had heard that Ace was made an offer, but I don't know. I guess that might not be true, or it could be true. Says Vinny was nice to him in Nashville. If you don't know who that is, that's Vinny Vincent. I'm joking. Last year, but has heard several weird things about him. I guess he's just not saying what they are. Let's see. Brought up a lawsuit against Kiss from their hairdresser that was filed recently and said Gene refuses to pay the guy. Says Gene will have a lot of explaining to do when he gets to the pearly gates, but that Gene doesn't care because he's an atheist. I don't know if that's true. Says he's sober 17 years in September. I got nothing bad to say about that. Every one of us as Kiss fans want Ace to be sober. Says the new album is basically finished and in mixing. Should be done by the end of April. He's been writing songs with Tommy Denander, I hope I said that right, and Steve Brown from Trickster. I will tell you that from my understanding, Joey from our show has actually heard a couple of tracks from the record, and he told me, or us, it's outstanding. So that's something to look forward to. So now that I've read all that unfortunate stuff, let's go on over here. Hello, Heavy Metal Beer Club. Crack one for me. I don't drink. Probably going to end up having just Bruce Kulick on stage for the last show. I'm not even sure that's going to happen. Eddie was leading Ace down the death spiral willingly. Doug Bentley said, I just want to hear some dirt. I hope Paul does not apologize, Javier says. Chuck74 said, I tuned in late and don't know what is being talked about, but I'm not surprised by whatever it is. All right. So there's 51 of you guys hanging out with me right now. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, this is Podcast Rock City. There's normally 4 of us here. And but this is special. This is one of those things where we had to just I had to get on here and talk about these notes that Chris Sinzak from the Decibel Geek, that amazing show that doesn't only talk about Kiss, but they talk about a lot of other stuff. Oh, by the way, he puts on that amazing Rockin' Pod. As you can tell, I'm making sure that I really put an exclamation on the fact that the Rockin' Pod is an amazing exhibition. Chuck McFarland, Fox News just reported that Ace Frehley of Kiss was found dead in a Motel 6. Gene Simmons is suspect. That's a joke. Once a year, my friends will message me and go, hey, I just heard Ace is dead on Facebook. I'm like, he's not dead. This is Podcast Rock City. We get together live every Sunday, not this Sunday, because it's spring break and I got to take my kid on his senior spring break. But we get together right where you're at every Sunday at 7 p.m. And we do exactly what we're doing right now. So go to our Facebook page, hit the like button, and follow along with us. George, Chuck, you guys can come and like the page. Also, we're going to keep going with this. I want to make sure. Podcast Rock City 1, that's the number 1, at gmail.com is our email. I have a few packs of the Podcast Rock City trading cards left. If anybody wants them, send us a message. Podcast Rock City 1, that's the number 1, at gmail.com with your address. Sorry, I just ate Mexican and it's like, woo. And not a Mexican, but I ate Mexican. Okay, so let's just start off at the beginning. This is important. Ace is obviously very hurt. In response to Paul's comments about him and Peter on Howard Stern interviews, says he demands a public apology within 7 days or he'll go back on Trunk in a week and share a bunch of dirt on Gene and Paul. Is there anybody hoping that they don't apologize? Me, I'm just like, I think that Paul needs to come out and say, listen, I'm just shooting my mouth off. Just come out and say you're sorry. Come out and say, I realize now that hurt your feelings. And even if he says, I don't believe that you have anything on us, But even if you don't, I'm sorry, because I hope that happens. I know I'm dreaming. It's not going to happen. So if they don't, Lori Ann, hi. He's not hurt. He's just desperate for attention. There's an Ace hater right there. Watch out. She's cute, but fiery. I promise you, you do not want to get in her way in front of Tommy Thayer. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Is there actually any dirt? What do you guys think? Is it going to really be next Wednesday? Josh Hefner. So next Wednesday, Ace releases the dirt. Will he really? He'll have to get a public apology, and they'll have to say, I'm sorry. I didn't, really mean what was said. Look, with all this done, I mean, really, everybody that purchased tickets to see Kiss's final show, hoping that maybe Ace and Peter, even for just a song, might get up on stage and play a song, that chance shrunk. Because the truth is, if you read this message right here, this note right here, it says, he has not heard a word from Kiss about an offer to be at the final shows, and said it would take a huge chunk of money for him to do it. So he's not saying no. He's not saying he's not getting up there. That message right there says, I'll do it. Just write the check. Make it a big one. Do you guys agree with me? John, I'm sorry, I'm going to ruin your last name, so I'm just going to call you John. If I'm not mistaken, the thing that he's probably upset about is the fact that he mentioned, what are we going to do? Get Ace and Peter back on stage. And I think this was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then say, what are we going to call ourselves? Piss? But I'm not really sure what any of that means. So I think that might be why Ace was upset. So all right, so let's say today, when we all woke up this morning, at least here in like the United States, the North America, let's say this morning there was 100% chance Ace was getting on stage with Kiss at that final show. After today, what's the percentage? You tell me. Ace wants Kiss money one more time. That's what Chuck McFarlane says. Doug Bentley says Ace called out Paul on using tapes. Yikes. That's my word. Ace sold himself. He said he himself sounds great when he sings live. That's interesting. I'm getting so many messages. You guys are, I don't know. Am I doing something wrong? What's the percentage? Hit me with it right there in the comment section. I say it's like 15% now. Doug says 0. I say 15 because Ace he likes money. And, the right G-Man says 10%. I say the right amount of money, he goes, right? Aileen says 30%. Rory Erickson, what's up? Says 0. Chris Sinzak, hey, that's Chris Sinzak. He has the Decibel Geek, by the way, and the great, amazing Rockin' Pod that everybody that goes loves, and everybody has a great time. And it's probably, at this point, way more exciting than that last Kiss show. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Brad on the Flythe, what's up, Mr. Flythe? 15%. Bradley says 5 to 10%. I say 15. I give it a little more because money talks in the Frehley, life, right? Money talks. Kiss are not going to offer him shit after this. You have to hear it, Doug says. All right, you're probably right. You're probably right. But still, You hold out hope. You hold out hope, right? I don't know. So my buddy Chris, he's at dinner right now. I wanted to have him on so he could talk to me about it, but he was out to dinner. He actually got to listen. He's saying 0%, so you could probably go with that, you guys. I'm very sorry if this, I mean, I'm going regardless. I'm going to have a good trip with my girl. We're going to be in New York at Christmas time. It's her birthday. She's going to be 40. Isn't that awesome? Old man, 40-year-old girlfriend. What? So let's see. There's some more. Man, the comments are coming in hot and heavy. Let's see. Like Sonny said, Ace couldn't keep his mouth shut for a week, let alone 6 months. 15%, 5%, 10%. Kiss are not going to offer him anything. Ace and Peter will be on the 2025 reunion tour. Chuck McFarlane, you win the internet for that comment. On the fly, no way Paul is meeting his demands. Half Ace says the shows are sold out. Why would they offer to pay anybody to play? I agree with that, but maybe for the fans, which they say they do shit for. George says, hopefully we get Peter at least at those last 2 shows. Heavy Metal Beer Club says, there are better odds on Ace playing than Vinny. That's a good one. Aileen says, I was being very generous. John says, I think Paul is more likely to pay Ace to stay away from the last show. Chuck McFarlane says, way to go, Joe. Lorianne said, Ace should buy tickets to the final show. He can afford those $13,000 per seat front row tickets. All right, you guys. I don't know. This is, look, last show aside, this is the kind of thing that just upsets us as a Kiss family. Am I wrong there? As a Kiss family, it hurts us because we look at the band as family, and whenever no, my girlfriend's not going to be 40, Chuck. It was a joke. It's me. It hurts us because we don't want, even if they're never going to get together again, we don't want to see them arguing. It's like seeing your mom and dad argue. And that's the problem. Facebook user says, for those ridiculous prices, I wouldn't see my top 10 bands if they were on the same bill. I don't know who that is, but if I had to guess, it was my buddy Doug, but that's not who it is. I don't know what else to say. You guys, Chris Sinzak from the Decibel Geek, that awesome, amazing podcast, no matter what anybody says, Chuck McFarlane says, who doesn't fight with their family? No, that's true, but it's still hurtful. It's Ray says it's ridiculous, unnecessary drama. I agree. Nothing we can do about it. It's just going to be happening, you know? So, all right. So this was a lot of fun. Doug Bentley says, oh no, it was bad. Ace kept doubling down and going deeper. Eddie was just encouraging Ace. Even initially, it was weird. Then it kept going and Ace kept digging. Paul is livid right now. That's just assuming, but probably. Kiss Boxing Tour 2024. Him and Ace. I don't know who I'd put my money on. That would, Paul would put up his dukes. Ace would pull out a knife. It would get ugly. All right. So you guys watch the show next weekend, Sunday at 7 p.m. right here where you're seeing this right now. And we're going to have something fun to talk about. I'm sure this will get talked about by the other guys, but we'll also do something fun because, Podcast Rock City, the one thing about us is we're trendsetters. We do things the way we want to do them, and we do them to have fun. And thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry it's such a bad news day for Kiss fans, but we still have time before the final show. Let's see what happens. Maybe it's like professional wrestling. We're getting set up. I don't think so. I don't think so, but I love you guys, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. And I'm out of here in 3, 2, 1. Peace.